Do you know how to price out your projects? Maybe it's a little difficult because you just don't know where to start as far as pricing. So today in this video, we're going to be talking about strategies that you can use to price out your project, in addition to some things you want to make sure you include in your pricing. Hey, I'm Felicia over at FeliciaStreeter.com, where I help small businesses and contractors take their business to the 6-figure, 7-figure mark as a government contractor, and assuring you get your first bid done fast. Now, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you get notified when we drop new videos weekly here on the channel and when we go live on Tuesdays. Let's dive into pricing strategy. The first cost you want to consider in the big scope of pricing is the cost it will take, or how much it will cost you to do the work. So you need to know your cost. How much will it cost you to provide the service? How much will it cost you to provide the product? What is that number? And you need to know it. Once you know that number, the next thing is to look at your overhead. Okay, you also have overhead costs you need to make sure you're including into your pricing. So you're going to have direct cost, which is cost directly related to the project, in addition to indirect cost, which is your overall business cost that it takes you to run your business. So a portion of that would also be considered in your pricing of your project. Now, let me tell you, a lot of times people forget their overhead costs. And what happens is it starts to eat up your profit really, really fast if you don't include that number. Not only including the number, but you need to know how to come up with the number and what the actual number really is, so that you make sure you're not, one, leaving money on the table, and two, thinking that, okay, I'm going to make, $500 off this project. And then in essence, you only make 50. And I'm talking about after all expenses. So it's very, very important that you always know your overhead costs. Now, that's a whole different conversation about your bookkeeping, tracking your money flow and expenses coming in, and income coming in, things like that. Well, let me back that up. Your expenses going out and your income coming in. But it's a steady flow of money in and out, in and out. And so you need to know what those numbers are. You also want to make sure you include profit. Sometimes we'll say markup, because sometimes you may mark up the service, or if you have to get materials, supplies, things like that, you can put your markup on that. But then you also may include profit at the end. So what I'm saying when I say profit, we're talking about, okay, we've included all of the numbers, the cost to do the work, your overhead. So we're talking direct and indirect costs, in addition to any markups that you're going to put on any portion of the work. So after you include all of that, you still want to make sure you put your profit margins in. Okay. And once you do that, now we have a final number. Now, within all these numbers, there may be multiple numbers, multiple things that you need to include, and only you will know that, right? You need to know what all numbers you need to include for the cost of work. You need to know what numbers you need to include for direct costs, what numbers you need to include for indirect costs. And then you also need to know what your markups will be, where you're going to put your markups. And then you also need to know what profit margins you're going to use, meaning what percentage will you add to that final number as it relates to your profit margin. Okay. If you like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Let us know you like this information. And that'll also let other people know, hey, this is something that they should pay attention to, because I'm sure you're not the only one that may be struggling or may have some difficulty in pricing. So for example, if you've bid a project and maybe you won it, right? But your margins weren't what you thought they should be. You didn't make as much money off of it as you would have liked. Or if you know you didn't include all of your cost, then you need to focus on your pricing. So you're not alone. Most people, we don't know what we don't know until we get into it and we start bidding. And then we look at the numbers after the fact and realize, wait a minute, I didn't include this or I didn't include that. The only way to know that is that you must track the money flow. Okay, that's where the bookkeeping comes in. That's where accounting comes in, the accounting system that you're going to use, because then you can decide and see that either you included all of your costs or you did not, because you can job cost projects. Okay, that's a conversation for another day, but do know that you can job cost your projects. And when you do that, you'll start getting a better idea of how much things will cost you to perform. And then you'll get better at pricing and making sure your profit margins hold true. Okay. Now, I get it. Pricing is, it is what it is. And there's never a number where it will always be exactly the same unless you were, for some reason, doing the exact same thing and exact same, like everything would have to line up, right? And so with that not being the case, you do need to learn how to price. It's very, very important. If you plan to grow your business, scale, start hiring on help, subcontracting out work, those numbers, the pricing is going to come in handy and it's going to be very important. So if you are struggling with your pricing, definitely check out the Contractors Edge Bootcamp. Okay. If you need help on executing on your government contracting goals, and a part of that may be the pricing, right? Bidding contracts, proposals, that kind of thing. Check out the Contractors Edge Bootcamp. Over there, we focus on getting your first bid done fast, but then also getting your business to the 6-figure or 7-figure mark, just depending on where you're at as a government contractor. So we're talking about getting in the door, start winning some contracts, and then getting into bigger and larger, longer contracts. Okay, so check out the Contractors Edge Bootcamp. It's over at firstbiddonefast.com. firstbiddonefast.com. Check it out. Come join us in Module 3. It's all about bid and profit. Bid and profit. It's very, very important that you learn how to do both. It's not an either or, but it is a both. Okay, and we're coming up on the end of the year 2020. So I do want to let you guys know, it's on the website that the investment into the Contractors Edge Bootcamp is going up on January 1, 2021. So if you want to get in at 2020 rates, make sure you sign up before the end of the year over at firstbiddonefast.com. All right, so don't forget to like this video and come back tomorrow, watch the next video of Vlogmas 2020. All right. And remember, you're just one contract away. All right. So I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye for now.